Hello everyone, Archana is here. Welcome to the 20th session of presentation in English. In today's session, let us learn the poem Water, written by Challapalli Swaroopa Rani. About the poetess, Challapalli Swaroopa Rani is a noted Telugu writer. Her works portray her concerns towards social issues. She began writing about her personal experiences. Later, she started to focus on society. Her poetry consciously deals with the issues of gender and caste. The Water tells about the caste discrimination in villages of India. The poetess remembers her childhood days when they were not allowed to take water in the nearby well because they come from the lower caste. Overall, the poem describes about the problems laced in the rural Andhra Pradesh. Dalits are considered untouchables by the upper caste people. Dalits always live outside the villages. Their living places are called wardas. The upper caste people do not allow the Dalits to their places. The Dalits were not allowed to even draw water from the wells. Dalits rose against this social injustice, but they were neglected by dominant castes. The poetess very effectively describes the pain and problems of Dalits. This narration makes us feel the pain of humiliation that undergo just for a pot of water. Poetess says that only water understands and no other human being understands their feelings. As water always flows from a higher to a lower level, it easily understands Dalit's problems. The edge of a well where women draw water never dries, and in the same way, untouchability will never dry because even today it is practiced in many areas. Almost every village in India depends on common well for basic needs. Usually, in those days, the well would be situated in the center of the village. In fact, people set their shelter nearby the place where they can get water easily. Almost all living things on earth need water to survive. When water fails, functions of nature cease, you say. Thus, when rain fails, no man can walk in duty's ordered way, goes the great saying by Tiruvalluvar. Without water, life could not even be imagined. Hence, water is a driving force of all nature. Nevertheless, some evils in the form of human beings have formulated certain rules and regulations to access the well, and they restricted a group of people in the name of caste. Those restricted people are commonly referred to as untouchables. They should not touch the well, and if they touch it, even if accidentally, the water would be considered as impure. As a result, the untouchable person who touched the water would be punished severely. Challapalli Swaruparani portrays such kind of issues in her poem Water. She says that the well knows untouchability would never disappear. She adds a lot of reliable facts to stand her statement through her poem. The poem highlights the gender discrimination that existed from times immemorial. She tries to explain it with many comparisons, and the first one is the water is aware of the ground's incline and it knows how people have struggled through generations, and this is compared to the dampness that always exists near the well, as that part never dries. In the same way, this discrimination is never going to end. Water is a witness to the difference of race between the Samaria women and the Jesus, the Jew. It is believed that the Samaria women are supposed to be the ones who are treated very badly as they belonged to the lowest caste, and it is believed that Jesus, who was offered water from such a lady, was gracious enough to accept it. Water is aware that the difference that exists between the cobbler and the weaver. It means even the subcaste difference is very clearly highlighted. Panchama is supposed to be the fifth set in the Varna category. The first four are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the fifth set of Varna category is Panchama, and these were considered to be lower than the Shudras and were never provided an opportunity to draw water from the well, and they were forced to wait near the well with an empty pot till a considerate Shudra comes there and draws water from the well. Here, the poetess bangs the pathetic conditions of the untouchables. As they are not supposed to touch the well, they have to wait near the well to get a pot of water. Someone from upper caste would come to draw a pot of water from the well, and the person would draw a pot of water for the untouchable who is waiting near the well for hours and pour it into the pot of untouchables from a distance with a cautious mind of not touching the pot of untouchables. If they touch it, it would be considered as defame. Here, the poet ironically uses the term Shudra to call the oppressor who oppresses the people in the name of caste. Water again is a witness of or to the humiliation that the Vada girl had to face always when water was drawn and while pouring it into her container. A part of it would spill and wet her clothes, and this intentional act was the highest because they would hardly get water added to it. Humiliation was the highest degree. A lady called Karmachedu Suvartamma as the one who raised her voice and supported a Dalit boy who was being beaten by a group of youth. She, who had come to collect water from the tank, raises her pot to stop the boy from being attacked for the reason that he requested the youth to not pollute the water by cleaning their cattle in the tank. Swatama, a woman who belongs to the oppressed community, could not tolerate the injustices, and so she raises her water pot by saying that she is going to draw water from the common well. In return, she faces a lot of problems and numerous kamma, name of an upper caste. Landlords who were oppressing the untouchables could not resist her action, and this issue ends in a massacre of over a dozen Dalits at Karmachedu, including Suvartamma, on July 17, 1985. The poetess recollects her Vada people would wait thirsty for a glass of water. How her Vada people used to wait for just a glass of water to quench their thirst. The poetess describes that water to them is not simply H2O, but a mighty movement, and she compares that to a struggle at the Chadar tank, the Mahad struggle. It is believed that all the Dalit men and women one day went to Chadar tank and dipped their hands into the waters, only to proclaim to the village people that they were opposing the norms. For people like the poetess, a single drop of water makes them recollect tears shed over generations. There were many battles fought for a single drop of water, and in this process, many people lost their lives, and yet they couldn't get a small puddle of water. In Ode to Nightingale, John Keats says that Nightingale stands as a living witness of all the historical events which occurred over generations. Likewise, here in this poem, water, Swaroopa Rani mentions that water is a sole witness of the social injustice which has been occurring for several centuries. There are numerous people died in the fight of obtaining the basic rights in the society, that is, to get equal rights in drawing water from the common well. So many battles have happened regarding these issues. Swaruparani compares it in her own style. The poetess at her own community appeared to be a cursed one because there were occasions when the community doesn't have an opportunity to take a bath every day. On the other hand, the entire village could luxuriously bathe twice a day. This clearly narrates the pathetic state in which the Panchamas were, and that is the main reason for their living. Whenever the poetess gets an opportunity to recollect her childhood, she is able to remember the pain that she and her friends experienced when they had to carry heavy pots and their necks would start aching very badly. They had to walk miles to reach a canal and almost had to steal water from there. While other community people enjoy their bathing twice a week, here Wada people used to wait for the water to quench their thirst, and they used to bathe once in a week, and they used to bathe as they are celebrating a festival. To this extent, the condition of the Wada people are pathetic. In a village called Mallapalli, there was not a pot of water, and all the houses of the people were mercilessly put on fire. People struggled hard to get a pot of water to bring down the fire. Water feeds the thirst of living things without seeing any partiality, unlike the sixth sense animals do. Now and then it declines to satiate the thirsty throats, and occasionally it kills the people by its horrible force, that is, floods, all these natural disasters, floods and cyclone. Water shows its anger in the form of tsunami that swallows the village after village. Therefore, Swaroopa Rani appropriately calls water as the preserver and destroyer. The poet makes it as it can give life, but it can also devour lives. The water that refused to quench parched thirst become became the killer tsunami wave that swallowed whole village after village. Water may appear to be a single thing, but its greatest quality is that it can give life as well as take it away. There are occasions when the water could not satisfy a thirsty person, but it would transform into a tsunami wave that nearly swallowed many villages. Water has the ability to turn villages into dry deserts or drown them in floods, as people are just like helpless play objects in its cruel hands. Finally, the poetess concludes that the water for which many lives were lost, many wars were fought, has now become an international commodity. The poetess concentrates not only on Dalit issues on water, but also the invasion of water by the corporate companies. They suck water like a leech and renamed it after mineral water and sell it in bottles. Eventually, they made the whole world to believe that it is the safest and most hygienic water, and the senseless people too buying it. In addition to this, the business minded corporate companies add something in water, changes its color as well as its taste and nature, and incarcerate the freely flowing water in small bottles and selling it in the market in the name of cool drinks. Poetess writes in the poem, this water slowly, surreptitiously, means secretively, dances its way into the Pepsi Man's bottle with its new name mineral water. Now, water is no mean matter, it's a multinational market commodity. Water has been the cause of fights between states, between villages, and in this process, many people have been seriously wounded and some have even lost their lives. Whatever be the nature of water, of late, it has been transformed to sit innocently in a Bisleri bottle. It means if human beings have the ability to purchase water, they can truly do so now. Earlier, many women, like the poetess, had to struggle to get even a small pot of water, but now it has been transformed into a multinational market commodity. It has created a great revolution, and in doing so, no human being is discriminated. It is believed that water is present everywhere and it can take the whole world in its drive. So, here we have wound up the poem. Let us conclude the poem. Challapalli Swarooparani is a prominent Dalit writer. Her mature poetry focuses mainly on the issues of gender and caste, though she began writing about her experiences. Her translated piece, Water, by Uma Brugubhanda, is a metaphor that shows the plight of the untouchables in our society. Panchamas are not allowed to draw water from the wells. She explained how she and her friends struggled to get water from the rivers far away and the pain they had in the neck. Water knows the humiliation happened to them as they were allowed to take water from the well only after the upper caste people took water. They suffer humiliation at the hands of Kamma lords. The lower caste would not even get enough water for drinking, whereas the upper caste took bath twice every day. Water has a good sense of memory and it can show its anger in terms of drought and flood. Water in this poem does not merely act as a substance, but it turns out to be a symbol of revolt. The writer recounts her childhood struggle beset with water. She condemns the state of the poor and downtrodden that are denied water. A contrasting picture is brought out where some people die without water while others are washed out by the killer tsunami. Water can come in the form of a tsunami and treat all the people in the same way. It does not discriminate according to the caste or wealth. Here, the poetess comments on water being a bone of contention between the states and countries. It is ironical that the same violent and destructive water can sit innocently in a bisleri bottle. The poetess' critical stance becomes more intense towards the end as she refers to a multinational market created for this unique commodity. So, water is instrumental for the struggle to equal rights and privileges. Water is considered as one of the most important elements in five prime elements of nature, that is, land, water, fire, air, and sky. While the fire among the prime elements has no such defile and impure problems in its state, it is all this poor water only has been defiled by the untouchables. If a person is defiled by touching an untouchable accidentally, he uses water to restore his purity. If the water has the power of turning one from impure to pure, how would it be defiled by the contact of an untouchable? Water, as a dumb creature, witnesses all these issues which has been occurring for several ages and remains as mute. All these issues on water are being done by evil human beings. On contrary, Swaruparani accuses the water itself for this. It is just like a doll in the hands of children, being played accordingly. It is not the fault of innocent water, but the fault of human beings. However, water avenges the convicts by giving a collective punishment and holds back the justice in the course of time. Present central government has initiated some steps to make India as cashless country. Likewise, one day it will become casteless country. If caste should be eradicated from the nation, there should not be a place for caste in three places such as graveyard, water, and temple. If this happens, probably there would be no issues in the name of caste. Home assignment. Answer the following questions. Discuss the travails suffered by the Wada people while securing water. Why does water become a matter of dispute? Thank you all.